Hello, basses. And hello, Mark, who I know is also a bass. How are we doing? Hi, Michael. Ready for some Et Resurrexit today. Just had a good session with the tenors. I hope it helped them. We went much more slowly and we really got through every single note. Got loads of time today actually to really focus on it. And we'll finish with a nice sing through as well. As usual. Short warm up, remember, so do warm yourselves up where you are. Hi Thomas, hope you're doing okay. Yes, if you want to be prepared, then we'll be starting at figure 42 today. Figure 42. We're just saying, even though there aren't that many people here yet, certainly in most of England, as far as I can tell from people's comments, the weather is atrocious. There's really no place I'd rather be. I certainly don't want to be outside today. So hopefully some people will be flooding in, literally, at the half hour. Hi, Adrian. Hello, hello. Just another 5 minutes and then we will begin. Lytham St Anne's, I have been there actually, Michael, and when I went it was extremely windy. So I can really picture that very well. Yes, it's utterly miserable really, looking out my window. Oh, Adrian, I'm very jealous. I have been out, but it was pretty miserable. I was soaked. I was soaked. Hi, Dave. Or credo. For me, credo. So more like C-R-E-H, like credo. But not cray. Definitely not with a big turn of the vowel. Hello, Mark. Hello, everyone. Hi, Nick. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And remember, it's quality, not quantity, Nick. It's quality, not quantity. Hi, Hugh. Just a couple more minutes now. Do keep warming yourselves up at your end. Make some funny noises. Credo. Just like Play-Doh. It's not like Play-Doh. It's the opposite of Play-Doh. Credo. When I have children, I'm going to make sure that they play with Play-Doh. What do you want to do today, kids? Play-Doh. Hugh, I haven't factored that into today's rehearsal. Leave that one with me, Hugh. Leave that one with me. Miserable in Warrington, yep. Well, you're not too far from me in Warrington, so we've probably got the same view out of our window of kind of... Hi, Anthony. Mark's having a right laugh there. Well, just a minute to go, everyone. So if you've just arrived, then the best place for you to be in your book or your copy is figure 42. Figure 42. Just give you some time to find that now, because I know these points in the score are a little bit difficult to find. It's the Allegro. Of course you know, because I said yesterday what we were doing today. We've got to tackle the Allegro. Oh, just need to loosen up a bit after that tenor sectional, you know. Hi, Andrew. Oh, glad you enjoyed yesterday. It's nice to just recap some of the music actually as we go along, isn't it? To just keep on top of it. Hi, Seamus. And Nicholas. Yes, I agree. We must cheer ourselves up. Well, do you know what? The time is 4:30 here, and I think we should begin. So welcome, basses. As you know, today we're getting stuck into Et Vitam Venturi, the fast section of Et Resurrexit, and we're going to slow it down. We're going to learn all of the notes slowly today together. We'll end with a run through, which will be with at full speed with the track, but for now we're just working through it nice and slowly. We'll do a very short warm-up to begin with, so if you'd like to stand up, then do. I'm going to stay seated, as usual, in my technical box of dreams. I cannot move here. Luckily I can wave my arms. But let's have feet flat on the floor, whatever you're doing. Feel a connection there, feel supported by the floor. And just growing through your spine and through the back of your head. So feeling taller and prouder than normal. Rolling your shoulders. Now, backwards 3-4 times. Forwards 3 or 4 times. Lovely. And then let your hands just hang by your sides so they feel kind of like weights at the side of you. Again, they're just kind of pulling your shoulders closer to the ground. They're feeling really low and open. Lovely. Now we're going to breathe in for 4 and out to a shh for 8. And no crescendo today, just a pure shh with no falter, just completely smooth. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4 and shh. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lovely, and now to a S. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And finally on a F, the hardest to control, really want a smooth sound. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. Let's move on to something pitched. So we'll start nice and low basses. Let's start on a low G, right down there. And we're going to go on a J. We're going to go J, like the French jardin. J. Here we go. 1, 2. One more. from yours, this is a C. From the C, we're going to open to an R at the top. So we're going to have ja. And as we open to R, we're going to think Italianate. We're going to think into the mask of the face. And I want the moment that you kind of ping your mouth open, ja, to be really explosive. Ja. And I want us to ping the sound upwards. Ja, rather than ja, which goes straight into my jaw. Sounds a bit dark and sounds a bit flat actually. But ja. Or 1, 2, ja. With that, we're actually going to get stuck in straight away today. So warm up as we go along. Don't give it too much at the beginning because we haven't done a huge warm up there. And when you're feeling a little more warmed up, then you can start to go for it a little bit more. So, like I say, we are looking at Et Resurrexit, figure 42, please. Figure 42. It's the Allegro. For me, it's on page 150. But I know that's different for different people. So it's page 150 for me. Figure 42 is unanimous. And we obviously looked at a little bit of this yesterday, but I don't think there's any harm in starting again and looking over it again. I think we'll all appreciate that. So at figure 42, of course, you've got some bars rest. So if you can just find your first entry there, the forte on the B, okay? Let's do this really slowly to begin with. 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. That's our first section. And within that first section, sorry, it's not the sections that I said yesterday. That's the first thing we're going to look at now. And within that part, we've got the counter melody, the slow rising minims. And we've also got the main melody. Et vitam ventori. So we've got the two main parts of this whole section, which is great. So let's go back to the first entry again, the first entry. Is 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. 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 And as I sing this, I'm trying to find a little bit of dance-like kind of quality to my voice. So even though we're under tempo, all of the amens, amen, amen, it's still going to have a sense of upwards lift. Amen. So just see if you can kind of find a lightness of touch to the way you're singing this. Let's try this once more, please, from the same place. 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. the right notes. My fingers played the wrong notes. So let's just do that final bar. Amen. Just that last little moment is 1. Amen. Is a 1. Amen. Light and fluffy. 1, 2, 1. Amen. It's like a little frill on the end of a dress, that, yeah? The dress is the main kind of melody, and then we just da-do-do-do-do-do at the end, yeah? Good. Let's go back to where we began. Same thing, faster. Is 1, 2, 1. Amen, amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. 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 Good, good, good. Once more like that at that speed, and then I promise we'll carry on. This music here is so important for it to be ingrained on your brain. Same thing. Is 1, 2, 1. Amen. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. 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 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 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 And that, figure 43, is the end of the first section for me. I've chunked this down into little sections, and that for me is section 1 complete. So let's just have a look at the end of this section, shall we? The first thing we had after we came out of the bit that we've just learnt was 3 repeated patterns, right? So count back with me before figure 43. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 bars before figure 43. It's bar 186. We have this repeated phrase 3 times. So let's start with that. 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2. 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2. 1, 2, 1. Amen. Fine. 3 of the same thing. Great. Keep the counting on point, but that's going to be fine. And then these next amens on the minims, the tied minims, are quite exciting because they're obviously all coming in on the half bar, because we have 1. Amen. Amen. All of the movement is on the second beat of the bar, which gives us this sense of moving forwards. So make sure that these little tied minims have a little ping at the front. Amen. Amen. Okay, let's try that final phrase. Is a 1, 2, 1. Amen. 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 And it doesn't get more typical bass line than bum, 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 does it, at the end there, into figure 43. Well, that is the first section of this Allegro for me basses, or at least in my mind, that's the first section. So why don't we put this all together and go back to figure 42, kind of 8 bars after it, where you come in for the first time. And let's put that all together now. It's the famous rising scale. 1, 2, 1. Amen. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. Amen. Oh, I did it again. Amen. 2, 1, 2, 1. 1. Amen. 2. 1, 2, 1. Amen. 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 Great, 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 great. I think we should do that just one more time, but slightly faster. One more time, but slightly faster. So back to the figure 42, 8 bars on from figure 42. And this time, can you find a little bit of ping and dance in the sound? As we speed up, keep the sound light. Try not to sing really aggressively into any of the notes. Just keep it uplifting. The sound, although it's forte, is moving, okay? As soon as we give it too much voice, we trip over our own voice and it's too heavy and it doesn't work at a fast speed. We have to keep the sound light. Is 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. Amen. 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 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 Hooray! So section 1. Cha-ching! Okay, section 2 starts at figure 43. And as you know, I've put in some new figure numbers, so I'll stop when we get to the new figure number. But after figure 43, if you just count ahead 6 bars until you see your first entry. Amen. Okay, let's do this slowly. So, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Is figure 43B. Yes, that bar line. Okay, just so you know, and I'm going to use that figure there from now on. So that's figure 43B, and that's the end of this next section that we're going to look at. So this is kind of section 2 for me. So lots of material that comes back there, which is really great, and that's why it's so important that we learnt that opening material really, really well. Now let's go back to figure 43, and 6 bars on where you first come in. So we begin with something that's really just a little bit of frill. Amen, amen. Let's just do that a few times. 1, 2, 1. Amen, 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 2, 1. Amen. Okay, so that's going to be a nice little bit of frill, a nice little bit of dancing. Amen. And then, of course, we come back to our scale. So let's carry on. 2, 1. Amen. Amen. And this time, the tail end of that scale is slightly different, the frilly bit, okay? Amen. Amen. Let's just sing that a few times. And 1. Amen. 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 Now let's go back to the beginning of the rising scale, to the beginning of the minims, and we'll have that little frilly bit on the end now. 1, 2, 1. Good. Same thing again. Sorry. Is 1. Amen. Nice. Then we carry on. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Okay, let's just look at that phrase in isolation there. Is 1. Amen. And one more of those is 1. Amen. And as we sing a line like that, that's in minims and semibreves and a little bit kind of longer and slower than all of the fast, intricate moving parts, we must be aware that we've got to come away from our sound bases. We can't be singing constantly, that's going to really get in the way of the sound world. It's going to obliterate the other parts. So for music like this, we're always going to take a lighter, bouncier sound and a little ping on the front of the minims. Amen. Let's try that. Is a 1, 2, 1. Amen. Great. And once we've done that, we come back into the main theme, et vitam, the main et vitam theme. Now this time, you're starting on an E, and that's really important because before et vitam, ba ba bum, we get a triad here, ba ba bum. But the first time that you sang the theme last time, you started on an E, but you went et vitam yadadam. So it's different, okay? The first time, da da da, and this time, et vitam ba ba bum. Okay? So just bear in mind that there are these little traps set for you throughout this, and it's really important we notice the difference between these recurring themes. So let's have a go at et vitam where we're working on. 1, 2. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. Amen. And that is the end of section 2. So as long as we get the beginning of that new theme right, then the rest of the theme is what we remember from before, okay? So there's lots of kind of patterns to cling on to, which is really useful actually when we're learning this. Let's put this second section together. If you go back to figure 43, 6 bars on where you first come in. It's your little frill to begin with. Is 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. Amen. And in the warm-up when we were going ja and we were getting that bright pinging R, actually let's use that here. Amen instead of amen. Amen. Really bright Italian ping to it, okay? Good. That is sections 1 and 2. Great. We should put them together. So let's go back to figure 42 now. Figure 42. And it's actually 8 bars into it, isn't it? Your first entry at figure 42. Back to that scale. So the counter melody is 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. 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 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 1. Amen. 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 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 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. Amen. And there's 43b. So first two sections complete. Now into my third section from figure 43b, which takes us to 43c, which I will tell you where that is in a moment. So should we continue slowly again? Again, we get repeated patterns here, 3 in a row. So useful to know, so useful to somehow mark this on your page so that you know next time you come to read it, you think, oh, it's that bit where it repeats 3 times. Or at least, this is about to repeat 3 times. How useful. So we begin with ah. Here we go, after 2. 1 and 2. Ah. Sorry, amen. 1, 2. Amen. 1, 2. Amen. And let's stop there for now. So 3 of the same thing. How wonderful is that? Now, one thing I want you to just notice is that at figure 43b, where we first began, notice that the altos do it first. They go, You need to wait an extra beat. So what we hear is, We're in canon with the altos. How frustrating. So make sure that we're really counting there and you don't accidentally come in with the altos. So we should always hear, okay? Let's try this. 1 and 2. Amen. 1, 2. Amen. 1, 2. Amen. Fantastic. Should we try that faster? Figure 43b is 1 and 2. Amen. 1, 2. Amen. 1, 2. Amen. Off. Fantastic. Now let's carry on from where we just got to, but slowly again. There's the D. So we finish on the A and then we go to the D is 1. Amen. 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 And then you hold this B for simply ages. Okay, we'll come to that in a moment because it takes us to the end of this section. But for now, let's just look back at these amens before that. After figure 43b, where we began on the D natural, so after figure 43b, counting with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bars, you come in on the D natural, yeah? Now, just going to talk through this. So we go down the scale. Amen. Amen. And then at this point, I believe that if you can, you should continue down, keep descending. Amen. Sorry. So amen. But if you're not a real low bass there, then that's why you would go amen, ba-da-da, and you just jump up the octave on the low G sharp. Amen. Okay, so I would say that most of you should stay on the lower octave if you can, okay? But if you really can't, then jump up the octave and that's fine. But I think they kind of prefer the lower note for me anyway, when we come to making recordings. So let's try that from the D natural now, so just a few bars before there, where we were beginning. Ah is 1. Amen, 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 ah. And then we start this B pianissimo. And just, it goes on for so many bars. So keep the sound spinning. Ah, keep it in the mask of the face. Keep it really, really bright. And keep thinking about doing something. I know I've said this before. When we get to a really long note, don't just park, okay? It's really important that we think, ah, and we feel like we're kind of bubbling or something, you know, like we're a glass of champagne. Ah, and it's soft, it's pianissimo, so it's going to have kind of an excited pianissimo. And it has to be kind of spinning, it has to be doing something, otherwise it's just going to be a, yeah? Ah. Now, as this note continues, follow it all the way along. You'll see that there's a crescendo just near the end of it. So we do want that. Big crescendo, please. Big crescendo. And then at the end of the crescendo, you get to a forte. And that, please, the exact bar of the forte is 43C. 43C. And it's the end of my third section. So figure 43C. And we really want to reach that forte because the sopranos come in et vitam with the main theme again, and we feel like, yes, we're home. And it's really important that we really reached a forte, okay? So get us there, basses, to the forte. And during this big long B, it's of course got to be a stagger breathe moment. There's no way you'll manage that in one breath. So take a little sneaky breath, duck out, breathe, come back in again. Totally fine. When everyone's singing, we don't notice it, okay? I think we should put this section all together. So, in fact, should we tie two sections together? Let's go all the way back now to figure 43. 43. And we'll take it all the way through to there. So after figure 43, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars is your first entry there. Amen. Okay? 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. Amen. 2. Amen. 1, 2. Amen. 1, 2. Amen. 1. Amen. 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 Crescendo, forte, men, and then we get to figure 43C. Hooray, hooray. Well done, everyone. Now that's the end of my section 3 and the beginning of section 4. So if you read on and find your next entry, you see that we're back to our Minims scale again, which we love now, although there's a sneaky little thing here. So let's go slowly again now from your next entry. 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Sorry, seculi. Amen. And we stop there at figure 44. That's going to be the final section, actually, section 5. So this section for you is really, really tiny, actually, but does have some fiddly little moments, doesn't it? So let's go back to the minim scale before figure 44. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're just watching that we go. So don't keep rising up the scale. Watch that we've got a leap there. 1, 2, 1. Amen. Great. And we're just going to work on this phrase for a moment. So let's look at the last bar of that. Amen. Yeah, ba, 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 bam, bam. And sometimes I've probably told you this before. I just learn things by going da 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 bam bam. You ba da ba boo boo ba doo ba doo. Scooby doo ba doo. Scooby doo doo boo boo. Ya ba da ba bam bam. Amen. 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 And amen. One more time. Amen. That is going to be perfect. Now let's add the scale on in front of it. Is 1. Amen. And again is 1. Amen. And again is 1. Amen. Fantastic. Even faster. 1, 2, 1. Amen. Great. And then the next phrase. Amen. Let's just try that one by itself. Is 1. Amen. And again, 1. Amen. And 1. Amen. And 1. Amen. And 1. Amen. One more time and 1. Amen. Fantastic. Now, basses, let's go back to the scale and put these all together. Is 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Fantastic. One more of those. Is 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Wonderful. Now, after we've done that, we get to et vitam, and it's back to the one that the first one. So we go yadaram et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. And the seculi is the trap, isn't it? Because it goes down, it goes further down than we're expecting it. Tori seculi. Amen. Ya ba 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 ba. That's a big trap. I would write warning, 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 alarm, alarm. It's different, it's different. Seculi. Amen. Which takes us to figure 44. So let's try this little et vitam. So 5 bars before figure 44. Et 1, 2. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. One more time. Et 1, 2. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. This is great. Now let's go back even further to the whole of that section. So before figure 44, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The scale is 1, 2, 1. Amen. 2, 1. Amen. Et vitam ventori seculi. Amen. Wonderful stuff. Now then, we reach this final section at figure 44. And we looked at this yesterday, but we'll still go over it now. So this is the moment where we get this lovely repeated. Okay? Let's try this slowly. Figure 44 is 1 and 2 and 1. Stop there for now because it goes into minims and semi-breves and I want to speed us up for that, otherwise it gets very vocally tiring. So let's just stay at this speed from figure 44 for now. Back to figure 44. just to learn this fiddly bit. 1 and 2 and 1. So the important notes for me are the C natural when it comes, after we've had the C sharp before that. And then at the end, that G natural feels really low, doesn't it? Real low G natural. So just be careful of those notes, those naturals that feel very low. They should feel low compared to the fact that they've all been sharp before that, okay? Let's speed this up from figure 44. 1 and 2 and 1. Stop there. We'll come to this moment in a bit, okay? So the good news is that, as you heard, the whole thing repeats itself. So we get that Amen, Amen. We get that twice, okay? So that's good. Now the other thing to think about is that when we get to these octaves on all of the Amens, Amen, 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 the lower octave, basically, it doesn't matter which one you want to pick, whether you're a bass 1 or a bass 2, it's unison octaves. We definitely want a kind of heavier bass, you know, we'd rather have the bass 2 there. So if you're a bass 1 and you can sing the lower octave, I would go for the lower octave. But basically, it doesn't matter, okay, as long as we have a nice sound on the lower octave overall, okay. Now then, of course this is really quite vocally tiring, this sort of singing, because it's really loud. So for now, when it is really loud, just don't practice it that loud as we do it. Just keep it light, just to learn the notes, get them in there. And then once we're going for a run through, by all means, give it your best then, okay? But for now, let's keep this light. So I would like to do this one more time, and then we'll come to that little fiddly bit at the end in a moment. So could you look for me at figure 44, figure 44. Okay, 1 and 2 and 1. Amen, 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 Amen. 1, 2, 1, 2, men. Amen. 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 And let's just stop there and slow down. So we've just reached that. And then let's carry on slowly. So there's the G sharp. 1 and 2 and 1. Amen. 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 we just sing some big amen. So let's look at this fiddly bit, please. Can you go back to the beginning of the fiddly bit? It's jumping about all over the shop, isn't it? 1 and 2 and 1. Amen, amen. And again. 1 and 2 and 1. Amen, amen. I like the final one. Amen, as if it's completely unconnected to what you've just done. 1 and 2 and 1. Amen, amen. And again. 1, 2, 1. Amen, amen. Finally. 1, 2, 1. Amen, amen. Now let's carry on more slowly. Amen, 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 amen. Okay. Let's carry on. So we have our G sharp. Amen. 1, 2, 1, 2, men. And we reach figure 45. And then after that, we just shout a big credo at the end, which I'll come to in a minute. So before figure 45, let's go back. Count with me backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 bars, which is where the frilly bit begins. 1 and 2 and 1. Amen, amen. 1, 2. Amen, 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 amen. 2, 1, 2. Amen and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, men. Short men at the end. And then, as I said yesterday, the soloists who have just been sitting there whilst the choir have been working their socks off, were just come in as if everything's fine with this tiny little sotto voce. In unum Deum. And then the piano has this tiny little. And then you come, credo. It's going to be so loud, it's going to scare me, okay? Credo. Okay? Credo. And of course this one is a fairly easy one to pitch because we've had the B just for you there. So there we go. Credo. Off the end. The cr will come before the beat, cr, as you know, and the e will come on the beat. Credo. C-R-E-H-D-O-H. Credo. Credo. Okay? How exciting. Oh. Basses. This is really good work. Now what we're going to do to finish today is going to sing the whole of Et Resurrexit so that we recap the beginning as well. We're going to do it with Peter as the highlighted voice so that you can really hear your part. Don't worry, I said this to the tenors as well, please do not worry that not every single note will be perfect in the allegro yet. It's super fast, okay? Keep to that light singing and see what's there today, you know, see how much you've improved by just doing this session. And then remember that you can come back to this video and recap. That's the best thing about these videos is that they exist after they've been live. So please don't worry if you think, oh gosh, you know, that wasn't perfect. It probably won't be perfect because we've spent under an hour on it. So please don't worry. But do see what is there, especially all of those main theme bits and that ascending minim scale. If we can get those bits in, that will make me really happy today, okay? So if you find the beginning of Et Resurrexit, movement 10, for me it's on page 129, and it's just before figure 38 if you're trying to find it on the score. So it's between figure 37 and figure 38 where it begins. Just give you a minute. And then, let's do this, shall we? I'm excited. Here it comes.
Et resurrexit tertia die credo, credo. Ascendit in celum.
Et ascendit in celum, sedet ad dexteram, Patris.
Et iterum venturus est cum gloria judicare vivos et mortuos, cuius reni non erit finis, et in spiritum sanctum Dominum, et vivificantem, qui ex Patre Filioque procedit. Qui locutus est per prophetas. Et unam sanctam catholicam,
Et unam sanctam catholicam, et apostolicam ecclesiam.
Credo, credo, confiteor, unum baptisma. Confiteor, unum baptisma, in remissionem peccatorum, et expecto resurrectionem, et expecto resurrectionem, resurrectionem mortuorum. Credo, credo. Amen, 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 et vitam venturi seculi, amen, amen, amen. Amen, Amen, Amen. Amen. Amen, Amen. Amen. Et vitam venturi seculi. Amen. 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 Et vitam venturi seculi. Amen. 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 Credo.
Fantastic. Well done, bassist, today, for all of your hard work. I hope that has paid off. Great work, really. Just noticing about figure 40, I just heard that too. Honestly, don't know if it's a different edition or if Peter was just having a funny turn, but please sing what's on your score and I will endeavour to sort that out. But sing the notes on your score, please. They match mine and you're right, okay? So thanks very much for being here today. And there are different, there are different editions. So can you sing? I believe that most people, I could be wrong, the online score and my version, which is Novello, seems to be what everyone has, which is why I'm going to say sing what's on your score. And then we should be fine. Okay, I think everyone's got this edition, Ricordi, Novello or online, which should work. I will just triple check that with Mark, however. Thank you very much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. We'll come back together, we'll recap all of this, and next week we'll move on. It's the last week of the course, can you believe it? So I'll see you then. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye-bye.